They say there is a place where the sky meets the underworld, where spirits whisper secrets only the dead can understand. A forbidden land where mortals vanish, never to be seen again. Some call it a myth, others call it a curse. But the elders, they call it Igbo Olodumare. They speak of trees that hum with ancient memories, and rivers that run not with water, but with dreams. Of a place where the sun hesitates to rise, and the moon never leaves the sky. The villagers say even the gods tread carefully there, and the land itself listens. It is not merely a forest, it is a threshold, a veil between worlds. It is said that time folds in on itself there, that a man could walk for hours and find himself back at the beginning, or aged 10 years older. Only those with the strongest wills return unchanged, or return at all. In the heart of Okalaroye village, where flames danced in the moonlight and elders told stories of gods and warriors, a young hunter named Ajaka sat in restless silence. The night was heavy with a presence unseen, a calling he could not ignore. Children slept soundly in the arms of lullabies. The scent of roasted yams still hung in the air, but Ajaka sat alone by the fire, sharpening his spear, eyes fixed on the forest beyond. There was a tension in his jaw, a question he carried like a weight between his shoulders. His mother watched from a distance, her heart swelling with both pride and dread. She had seen this look in his father once, before he too disappeared into the unknown. Though the people of Okalaroye respected Ajaka, they feared what stirred behind his eyes. He was young, yet there was an oldness about him, like he carried stories too ancient for his years. He had heard the warnings, the dreadful fates of those who strayed beyond the sacred trees, yet something deep within him refused to yield to fear. He remembered the tales, hunters who followed strange lights and vanished forever, warriors who returned hollow-eyed and could no longer speak. The elders spoke of spirits that wore the faces of loved ones and beasts that fed on courage. But Ajaka also remembered something else. His father's voice, rough and certain. Fear is the drum of the coward. Let your heart be your guide, not your legs. And so, though every shadow seemed longer tonight, every sound sharper, he stood. He knew the danger. He chose it anyway. Somewhere in his bones, he felt it. The same tug his father had followed. Perhaps it was madness. Perhaps it was fate repeating itself. Either way, Ajaka could no longer ignore the call. One fateful night, with the silver moon casting shadows like spirits upon the earth, Ajaka stood at the forest's edge. The wind carried voices, not of men, but of something older. A cold shiver crawled down his spine. Was this madness or destiny? He inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with the thick, humid scent of the jungle, earthy and ancient. The trees towered before him like silent sentinels, their branches clawing at the stars. Far off, an owl hooted. A reply came in the form of a distant growl. Ajaka closed his eyes, touched the charm around his neck, and whispered a silent prayer to Ogun. His fingers tightened around his spear as he stepped forward. Darkness swallowed him whole, and in that moment he felt it, something shift in the air, as though the forest itself had been holding its breath, waiting for him. Stories of those who wandered here filled his mind, tales of warriors who never returned, of spirits who lured souls to their doom. Yet he pressed on, deeper into the unknown. The trees closed in around him, their trunks impossibly wide. The air felt thick, like walking through breath. He passed stones covered in glowing glyphs, and vines that hissed softly as they shifted in the dark. His feet found a path, barely visible, paved with bones and petals. He stepped carefully, every rustle and snap sending a thrill up his spine. The forest was alive. It was watching. A golden light flickered between the trees, weaving through the air like a living thing. It hovered before him, beckoning. His pulse quickened as he followed, stepping into the heart of the sacred land. He heard music then, not drums or flutes, but something stranger. A harmony made of whispers, leaves brushing, and the faintest hum that seemed to echo from inside his chest. A shadow loomed in the mist ahead. Then, a voice, cold, ancient, carrying the weight of centuries. Who dares trespass on the path of the gods? Ajaka's breath caught in his throat. His journey had begun, and the first trial awaited. The forest seemed alive, whispering, shifting. Shadows moved where no figures stood. The trees bent, as though watching him. The air grew colder with each step, until his breath puffed like smoke. Ajaka's grip on his spear tightened as he moved forward, each step sinking deeper into the unknown. From the undergrowth, two golden eyes blinked. Ajaka froze. The creature emerged, tall as a man, covered in thick, matted fur. Its fangs gleamed in the moonlight. This was no ordinary beast. It was a guardian. Turn back, mortal, before the land claims you. Ajaka felt the weight of the voice in his bones. It wasn't just speech. It was power, old as the roots of the forest. Ajaka swallowed hard. He knew the tales. The first test of Igbo Olodumare was courage. To flee was to fail. He tightened his grip on his spear. I seek the wisdom of the gods. I will not turn back. The beast growled low, circling him. It moved with the grace of a panther, but its bulk shook the ground. Its yellow eyes never blinked. They studied him, measured him. Words are wind, it growled. Let me see your resolve. Then, without warning, it lunged. Ajaka twisted away, the creature's claws grazing his side. He struck, but the blow glanced off thick fur. The forest blurred. The world narrowed to movement, breath, instinct. Ajaka ducked, rolled, struck again. His spear found purchase. The beast roared. His spear pierced the creature's shoulder. Black blood hissed against the soil. It howled, but did not fall. Instead, it grinned. Its eyes burned with something more than pain. Recognition, perhaps, or respect. Ajaka's arms trembled, but he stood his ground. His breath came in sharp bursts, his heart thundering like ancestral drums. The guardian stepped back, licking its wound. Then it spoke. You have passed the first test, Hunter, but the trials are only beginning. And with that, it vanished into mist. Ajaka stood alone once more, the night strangely quiet. But the golden light hovered again, guiding him. He followed, breathless, determined. As he walked deeper into Igbo Olodumare, the land itself began to change. The trees were taller, older, their branches twisted into unnatural shapes. Strange, glowing flowers pulsed with eerie light. The ground beneath his feet felt softer, as if walking on breath. The air shimmered. His footsteps made no sound. Time felt different here, slower, stretched, as though the world was watching. He passed a tree that bled sap the color of rubies. He touched it, and for a moment felt a sorrow not his own, a grief that belonged to something ancient and tired. Further in, he saw faces in the bark. One looked like his grandmother, another like himself. He blinked. The faces were gone. Ajaka turned sharply. His heart pounded. That voice, it was his mother's. But how? Mother, the tales of Igbo Olodumare warned of spirits who could mimic loved ones, luring travelers to their doom. Ajaka clenched his jaw, forcing himself to move forward. Yet the voice called again, more desperate this time. Ajaka, please, don't leave me here. It was perfect, too perfect. The tone, the tremble, the affection. He steeled himself, eyes forward. A shadow darted behind a tree. He spun, spear raised. Nothing. Only the rustle of leaves. The forest mocked him with echoes. Then, a figure emerged from the mist. A woman, draped in flowing white garments. Her eyes as dark as the night sky. Her presence sent a chill through Ajaka's bones. You walk the path of the gods, Hunter. But do you know what awaits you at the journey's end? Ajaka's voice was steady. Wisdom. She smiled, though there was no warmth in it, or destruction. As her form dissolved into mist, the forest grew colder. The trees leaned in, as though eavesdropping. Ajaka pressed on, his breath now visible in the air. The golden light continued to lead him deeper. He whispered a prayer under his breath, not just to Ogun, but to his ancestors. Let them guide his feet. Let them guard his spirit. The air grew thinner. Each step became harder, as if the land itself tested his resolve. The light faded in and out, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ahead, the path narrowed, just wide enough for 1 foot at a time. He moved forward slowly, carefully. Below him, mist curled like smoke from the earth. Suddenly, the path ended. Ajaka stepped forward, but his foot found nothing. He reached out to grab a branch, but it broke in his grip. Ajaka's heart stopped. No! He fell. The wind howled around him as the forest spun upward into darkness. His scream echoed into eternity. And then, silence.